Good evening, Mr. Nanayao. This is Mr. Igoche. Um, I was I was a staff of Destiny Christian Academy, a school owned by Dunamis International Gospel Center, and I I was sacked unjustly by the school on allegations of molesting female students at various instances in the school. I the sack happened summarily such that I wasn't given an opportunity to defend myself or even face any disciplinary actions. A committee, so to say, they issued me a query on a Thursday, um, 16th of July of April, sorry, 16th of April 2021, and I replied the query the next day, being 17th. In their query, they said they have CCTV footage of me molesting a particular girl and many other students. And my reply was direct. I reminded them of how hardworking and dedicated I've been to my job at Destiny Christian Academy. And in all those years, my character has never been questioned. My input has never been questioned. Uh, my hard work and dedication earned me a lot of promotions, and it made me an envy for a lot of the other staff. That's by the way. So when I was sacked, that very day I was issued with a sack letter. I ran to the pastor's house, that is Pastor Paul Enenche. I ran to his house and waited for him, even though they told me he was resting. I waited, and when he eventually came out, I showed him the sack letter. He was very angry and and said, "So this is what I've been doing in the school." And I said, "No, that this information contained in this letter is not correct, and that's why I'm running to him so that he can set up a committee to look into the matter." He assured me that he was going to do something about it, and he never did. Um, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, I didn't hear from them, and I was following up with his wife, Mrs. Becky Enenche, who is the director of the school. I sent her numerous text messages, and she replied me on one of those occasions to say that it's an unfortunate situation, that the school told her that they have CCTV footages, and as such she would not be able to help me in any way. So I said, okay, it's fine. Before I could know what was happening, the particular woman in the school, that is Mrs. Choma Ijezie, who was the originator of the lies that I was molesting female students, was already communicating with parents of the school and telling them that I actually raped the girl. It wasn't just molestation, but I actually raped the girl, and that those parents should avoid me as much as they could. Before I could know what was happening again, the school had sent an official message on all their social media platforms to all the parents, um, telling them that I've been sacked by the school, so they should no longer communicate with me. Now, looking at all this, I felt that there was a need for me to clear my name because, of course, for posterity's sake, I have children who may stumble on this information in the future and they will ask me questions. So I got a lawyer, and the lawyer wrote to the school. We wrote politely, honorably, and appealed to the school to do two things for us. Either they set up a panel to look into the matter thoroughly, or better still, report me to the police, since it was a criminal offense that they were alleging me of. So the school replied us through their lawyer that they would not set up any panel, that I'm no longer a staff of the school, so I do not have any authority to ask them, to tell them what to do. That's one. Two, they also said that in due time, they'll report me to the appropriate government agencies who prosecute me for the crime I've committed. And that three, they were going to sue me and claim damages for all the embarrassments I've caused the school. So with such a response, I already knew that they were not going to do, I wasn't going to get justice in them. So I wrote a petition to the Inspector General of Police, and the Inspector General of Police gave the Federal CID, Federal Criminal Investigation Department of the Nigeria Police, the authority to carry out an investigation, which they did. And their report exonerated me of all the allegations, and I sued the school. I sued the administrator of the school for defamation of character at the magistrate court in Gwagwalada, Abuja, and I also sued the school to the National Industrial Court, also in Abuja, for unlawful termination of employment. Now, 5 months down the line, this incident happened in April, and then by August 31st to be precise, I was picked up by men of the Nigerian police from the River Park Divisional Police station on allegation of rape. I was detained, and my lawyer wrote a petition to the Commissioner of Police in the FCT, and after they looked at it, I was released the next day because they said the federal CID had already investigated the matter, and so the state CID was subordinate to the federal CID. So if a federal CID has done an investigation, the state CID cannot come and do the same investigation. But the school insisted, and of course, using the powers that available to them, they found a way to make sure the investigation continued at the state CID. And I was invited for interview with some of the officials of the police, and it was stated clearly there. The girl was there with her mother and some staff of the school, and she said it to the hearing of everybody that I didn't do anything to her. That was in September last year. So when the news broke out that I was arrested, Pastor Enenche invited me to his office, and he was prevailing on me to accept responsibility, to accept that I actually committed the crime, and if I do accept and I apologize to him, that he was going to do something about it. And I said, apologizing means I'm accepting that I committed the crime. I didn't do it, so I don't see why I should be apologizing. And we kept going back and forth. After that meeting, the wife of Pastor Enenche, Ms. Becky Enenche, met me severally, and we had several discussions. None of them could reach any conclusion in my favor. So I continued with the cases in court, and they've been trying to find a way to come up with some allegations against me, to see how they can make me withdraw the cases at the court. By all means, they have tried to use my brother, manipulating my brother against me. They have tried to use my wife, trying to manipulate my wife against me too, and they've tried every means possible, but I've been able to stand my ground so far. And then on the 25th of April 2022, my wife and children went out of the church premises, because we still live in the church premises. That's the Lord's Garden in Abuja. And my wife and children went out to get some things. On returning, they shut the gates and locked them out. In fact, they physically assaulted my wife, and they told her that they were under the instruction not to let her into the premises. So the information got to me because I was at home. So I went there to find out why, and the security personnel on duty informed me that the instruction was given by the wife of the pastor, Mrs. Becky Enenche, that they shouldn't be let in. So I said, well, we still live here, and we have not committed any crime, so why should they be locking out my wife and children? So I was able to have a discussion with the security personnel, and they let them in. The next day, which was Tuesday 26th, they came and disconnected the electricity supply to our house. After that, they came with their plumbers and also disconnected our water supply. That was on Wednesday, 27th of April. Then by Thursday, being the 28th of April, I sent a message to the senior pastor, Dr. Paul Enenche, informing him of all these things that had happened. And he invited us to a meeting in his office on Friday, 29th of April. When we got to his office, he was talking angrily about the audacity my wife had to send a message to him, the kind of language she used and all of that. And she called my wife a useless girl. And so I told him that my wife is not useless, that my wife is actually very useful to me. So in the course of talking, an argument broke out. And then he started insulting me directly, calling me a useless boy, calling me a stupid boy, a non-entity. And I reminded him that a non-entity has been working dedicatedly for 7 years in his school, and I've been promoted to several positions that a non-entity couldn't have attained. And I also reminded him that it was our pedigree that they put together to start the school, because we actually started the secondary arm of the school, Destiny Christian Academy. And so in the course of the argument, his bodyguard broke into the office. His bodyguard by the name Gabriel Agbo broke into the office and ordered me to leave the office. So I told the bodyguard that he wasn't the one who invited me to the office, so he wouldn't give me an instruction to leave the office. If the pastor wanted me to leave his office, he would have asked me to leave. So along the line, because we're there with my elder brother became angry and said he was not going to be part of the meeting anymore. So when we're leaving the office, the bodyguard pushed me, and I staggered forward. So when I turned, I pushed him too, and then we got into an argument and we left the office. So the next day, being Saturday, 30th of April, at about 11 p.m., 11:09 p.m., the Gabriel Agbo, the bodyguard of Pastor Enenche, came with some mobile policemen to my apartment to arrest me, alleging that I am a threat to him and to the people living around the Lord's Garden. So I spoke to the mobile policemen and I explained to them how I've been living in the compound peacefully for the past 4 years, and nobody has ever reported me at the security office or being a security threat whatsoever. And so the mobile policemen left, and it ended there. Then on Saturday, 7th of May, at about 8 a.m. in the morning, I left my apartment to go and get bread for breakfast for my family. And then a mobile policeman saw me and ordered me to come here. And as I was approaching him, I said, "Officer, is there any problem?" And he just grabbed me by the neck and said, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who you're talking to? I'm a police officer." And then the next thing, another mobile policeman joined him. It's a Dunamis security, that's their internal security personnel, also joined them. And Gabriel Agbo was also there. and they all started punching me and beating me up. And then I was able to break free. And yes, my wife ran out of the house and tried to video what was happening. And Gabriel Agbo attacked her and smashed the phones. She had 2 phones on her. She said he smashed the phones, and she couldn't get the video of the incident. So um, when I broke free, I was walking out to go to the police station, and then they followed me with their police van to try to take me to the River Park police station. And I said, no, I will go to the station myself. I can find my way to the station. So I went to Lugbe police station, because Lugbe police station was actually the one that was closest to me. So I went there, and they asked me if it was a follow-up of a case that was already being investigated, and I said yes. And so they directed me to the federal CID, where I had reported my own case initially. So I got there, and then the federal CID people took me to hospital and treated me of some of the wounds I sustained as a result of the attacks. And they brought me, because when I left, Gabriel Agbo, that's the bodyguard of the pastor, had instructed them not to let me back into the compound. So when we got here, the officers from the federal CID asked them why, and they said that my attention was needed at the River Park police station. So we all went there, and they said that I fought with a police officer, that I assaulted a police officer. So they were charging me with criminal intimidation of a police officer. And yes, Gabriel had informed them that I was a threat to him, that I threatened him. I used intimidating words and threatening words too. So we were able to be granted bail, and so I came home. And then, of course, that has been a summary of everything that's happened so far. Thank you.